Baruch haba. And here we are again with another Torah portion reading. This reading is called Vetchanan, and it is Deuteronomy or Devarim, chapter 3, verse 23 through chapter 7, verse 11. And Vetchanan means, and I pleaded. Before we get into this Torah portion, though, you know how English has you, and you don't know whether it's singular or plural unless its context is taken into consideration. Well, Hebrew separates you singular and you plural. So when it says your God or your Elohim, I always add, well, not add, but I go back to the Hebrew, which is either Elohecha, which is singular you, meaning he is talking directly to you, or Elohim, which is the plural you or your. And all you have to do to remember this is if it ends with a M sound, it's plural. Actually, in second person and third person, if it ends with an M sound, then it's plural. Ha sound is singular. But if you just remember the plural ending in M, then you got it. This Torah portion has a couple of our God, which is Eloheinu, and well, you'll see those. There's a couple of those. All right, let's get to our reading, starting in Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 23. Then I pleaded with Yehovah at that time, saying, O Adonai Yehovah, you have begun to show your servant your greatness and your mighty hand. For what El is there in heaven or on earth who can do anything like your works and your mighty deeds? I pray, let me cross over and see the good land beyond the Jordan, those pleasant mountains and Lebanon. But Yehovah was angry with me on your account and would not listen to me. So Yehovah said to me, Enough of that. Speak no more to me of this matter. Go up to the top of Pisgah and lift your eyes toward the west, the north, the south, and the east. Behold it with your eyes, for you shall not cross over this Jordan. But command Yehoshua and encourage him and strengthen him, for he shall go over before this people, and he shall cause them to inherit the land which you will see. So he stayed in the valley opposite Beth Peor. Now, O Israel, listen to the statutes and the judgments which I teach you to observe, that you may live, and go in and possess the land which Yehovah, Elohai of your fathers, is giving you. You shall not add to the word which I command you, nor take from it, that you may keep the commandments of Yehovah, Elohim, which I command you. Your eyes have seen, Alef Tav, what Yehovah did at Baal Peor. For Yehovah Elohecha has destroyed from among you all the men who followed Baal of Peor. But you who held fast to Yehovah Elohim are alive today, every one of you. Surely I have taught you statutes and judgments, just as Yehovah Elohai commanded me, that you should act according to them in the land which you go to possess. Therefore, guard and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the peoples, who will hear, Alef Tav, all these statutes, and say, Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what great nation is there that has Elohim so near to it, as Yehovah Eloheinu is to us, for whatever reason we may call upon him? And what great nation is there that has such statutes and righteous judgments as are in all this Torah which I set before you today, or this day? Only take heed to yourself, and diligently keep yourself, lest you forget the things your eyes have seen, and lest they depart from your heart all the days of your life, and teach them to your children and your grandchildren, especially concerning the day you stood before Yehovah Elohecha in Horeb, when Yehovah said to me, Gather the people to me, and I will let them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days they live on the earth, and that they may teach their children. Then you came near and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire to the midst of heaven, with darkness, cloud, and thick darkness. And Yehovah spoke to you out of the midst of the fire. You heard the sound of the words, but saw no form. You only heard a voice. So he declared to you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, the 10 words or 10 commandments. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone. And Yehovah commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that you might observe them in the land which you cross over to possess. Take careful heed to yourselves, for you saw no form when Yehovah spoke to you at Horeb, out of the midst of the fire, lest you act corruptly and make for yourselves a carved image in the form of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any animal that is on the earth, or the likeness of any winged bird that flies in the air, the likeness of anything that creeps on the ground, or the likeness of any fish that is in the water beneath the earth. And take heed lest you lift your eyes to heaven, and when you see the sun, the moon, and the stars, all the host of heaven, you feel driven to worship them and serve them, which Yehovah Elohecha has given to all the peoples under the whole heaven as a heritage. But Yehovah has taken you and brought you out of the iron furnace, out of Mitzrayim, to be his people, an inheritance as you are this day. Furthermore, Yehovah was angry with me for your sakes, and swore that I would not cross over the Jordan, and that I would not enter the good land which Yehovah Elohecha is giving you as an inheritance. But I must die in this land. I must not cross over the Jordan, but you shall cross over and possess that good land. Take heed to yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yehovah Elohim, which he made with you, and make for yourselves a carved image in the form of anything which Yehovah Elohecha has forbidden you. For Yehovah Elohecha is a consuming fire, a jealous God, or El-Kanah. When you beget children and grandchildren, and have grown old in the land, and act corruptly, and take a carved image in the form of anything, and do evil in the sight of Yehovah Elohecha, to provoke him to anger, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that you will soon utterly perish from the land which you cross over the Jordan to possess. You will not prolong your days in it, but will be utterly destroyed. And Yehovah will scatter you among the peoples, and you will be left few in number among the Goyim, where Yehovah will drive you. And there you will serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see nor hear, nor eat or smell. But from there you will seek Yehovah Elohecha, and you will find him if you seek him with all your heart and with all your soul. When you are in distress, and all these things come upon you in the latter days, when you turn to Yehovah Elohecha and obey his voice, for Yehovah Elohecha is a merciful God, El Rahum. He will not forsake you, nor destroy you, nor forget the covenant of your fathers which he swore to them. For ask now concerning the days that are past, which were before you, since the day that Elohim created man on the earth, and asked from one end of heaven to the other whether any great thing like this has happened, or anything like it has been heard. Did any people ever hear the voice of Elohim speaking out of the midst of the fire, as you have heard and live? Or did Elohim ever try to go and lift up for himself a nation from the midst of another nation, by trials, by signs, by wonders, by war, by a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, and by great terrors, according to all that YHVH Elohim did for you in Mitzrayim before your eyes? To you it was shown, that you might know that YHVH himself is Elohim. There is none other besides him. Out of heaven he let you hear his voice, that he might instruct you. On earth he showed you his great fire. And you heard his words out of the midst of the fire, and because he loved your fathers, therefore he chose their descendants after them. And he brought you out of Mitzrayim with his presence, with his mighty power, driving out from before you nations greater and mightier than you, to bring you in, to give you their land as an inheritance, as it is this day. Therefore know this day, and consider it in your heart, that YHVH himself is Elohim, in heaven above and on the earth beneath. There is no other. You shall therefore keep his statutes and his commandments, which I command you today, that it may go well with you and with your children after you, and that you may prolong your days in the land which YHVH Elohim is giving you for all time. Then Moshe set apart 3 cities on this side of the Jordan, toward the rising of the sun, that the manslayer might flee there, who kills his neighbor unintentionally, without having hated him in time past, and that by fleeing to one of those cities, or these cities, he might live. Bezer in the wilderness on the plateau for the Reubenites, Ramoth in Gilead for the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan for the Manassites. Now this is the Torah which Moshe set before the children of Israel. These are the testimonies, the statutes, and the judgments which Moshe spoke to the children of Israel after they came out of Mitzrayim, on this side of the Jordan, in the valley opposite Beth Peor, in the land of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon, whom Moshe and the children of Israel defeated after they came out of Mitzrayim. And they took possession of his land, and the land of Og, king of Bashan. 2 kings of the Amorites, who were on this side of the Jordan, toward the rising of the sun, from Aror, which is on the bank of the river Arnon, even to Mount Sion, that is Hermon, and all the plain on the east side of the Jordan, as far as the Sea of Arabah, below the slopes of Pisgah. Chapter 5. And Moshe called to Israel and said to them, Hear, O Israel, Shema, Yisrael, the statutes and judgments which I speak in your hearing today, that you may learn them and be careful to do them. YHVH Eloheinu made a covenant with us in Horeb. YHVH did not make this covenant with our fathers, but with us, those who are here today, all of us who are alive. YHVH talked with you face to face on the mountain from the midst of the fire. I stood between YHVH and you at that time to declare to you the word of YHVH, for you were afraid because of the fire, and you did not go up the mountain. He said, Anochi YHVH Elohecha, I am YHVH Elohecha, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods in my face. You shall not make for yourselves a carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them nor serve them. For I, YHVH, Elohecha, am a jealous God, Elkanah, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation, to those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of YHVH Elohecha in vain, for YHVH, Alef Tav, will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Observe the Sabbath day to keep it holy, as YHVH Elohecha commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of YHVH Elohecha. In it you shall do no work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your ox, nor your donkey, nor any of your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates, that your male servant and your female servant may rest as well as you. And remember that you were a slave in the land of Mitzrayim, and YHVH Elohecha brought you out from there by a mighty hand and by an outstretched arm. Therefore YHVH Elohecha commanded you to keep the Sabbath day. Honor your father and your mother, as YHVH Elohecha has commanded you, that your days may be long, and that it may be well with you in the land which YHVH Elohecha is giving you. You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, and you shall not desire your neighbor's house, his field, his male servant, his female servant, his ox, his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's. These words YHVH spoke to all your assembly in the mountain from the midst of the fire, the cloud, and the thick darkness with a loud voice, and he added no more. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone and gave them to me. So it was, when you heard the voice from the midst of the darkness, while the mountain was burning with fire, that you came near to me, all the heads of your tribes and your elders, and you said, Surely YHVH Eloheinu has shown us his glory and his greatness, and we have heard his voice from the midst of the fire. We have seen this day that Elohim speaks with man, yet he lives. Now therefore, why should we die? For this great fire will consume us if we hear the voice of YHVH Eloheinu any more. Then we shall die. For who is there of all flesh who has heard the voice of the living Elohim speaking from the midst of the fire as we have, and lived? You go near and hear, Alef Tav, all that YHVH Eloheinu, Alef Tav, may say, and tell us, Alef Tav, all that YHVH Eloheinu says to you, and we will hear and do it. Then YHVH heard the voice of your words when you spoke to me, and YHVH said to me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people which they have spoken to you. They are right in all that they have spoken. Oh, that they had such a heart in them, that they would fear me and always keep all my commandments, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. Go and say to them, Return to your tents. But as for you, stand here by me, and I will speak to you, Alef Tav, all the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which you shall teach them, that they may observe them in the land which I am giving them to possess. Therefore, you shall be careful to do as YHVH Elohim has commanded you. You shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left. You shall walk in all the ways which YHVH Elohim has commanded you, that you may live, and that it may be well with you, and that you may prolong your days in the land which you shall possess. Now this is the commandment, and these are the statutes and judgments which YHVH Elohim has commanded to teach you, that you may observe them in the land which you are coming over to possess, that you may fear Yahovah Elohecha, to keep all his statutes and his commandments which I command you, you and your son and your grandson, all the days of your life, and that your days may be prolonged. Therefore, Shema, O Israel, hear, and be careful to observe it, or do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may multiply greatly, as Yahovah Elohai of your fathers has promised you, a land flowing with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yahovah Eloheinu, Yahovah is one. You shall love, Alef Tav, Yahovah Elohecha, with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. And these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorpost of your house and on your gates. So it shall be, when Yahovah Elohecha brings you into the land of which he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, to give you large and beautiful cities which you did not build, houses full of all good things which you did not fill, hewn out wells which you did not dig, vineyards and olive trees which you did not plant. When you have eaten and are full, then beware, lest you forget Yahovah, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, from the house of bondage. You shall fear Yahovah Elohecha, and serve him, and shall make oath in his name. You shall not go after other gods, the gods of the peoples who are all around you. For Yahovah Elohecha is a jealous God, an Elkanah among you, lest the anger of Yahovah Elohecha be aroused against you and destroy you from the face of the earth. You shall not test or tempt Yahovah Elohechem as you tested him in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of Yahovah Elohechem, his testimonies, his statutes which he has commanded you. And you shall do what is right and good in the sight of Yahovah, that it may be well with you, and that you may go in and possess the good land of which Yahovah swore to your fathers, to cast out all your enemies from before you, as Yahovah has spoken. When your son asks you in time to come, saying, what is the meaning of the testimonies, the statutes, and the judgments which Yahovah Eloheinu has commanded you? Then you shall say to your son, we were slaves of Pharaoh in Mitzrayim, and Yahovah brought us out of Mitzrayim with a mighty hand. And Yahovah showed signs and wonders before our eyes, great and severe, against Mitzrayim, Pharaoh, and all his household. Then he brought us out from there, that he might bring us in, to give us the land of which he swore to our fathers. And Yahovah commanded us to observe all these statutes, to fear Yahovah Eloheinu, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it is this day. Then it will be righteousness for us, if we are careful to observe all these commandments before Yahovah Eloheinu, as he has commanded us. When Yahovah Elohecha brings you into the land which you go to possess, and has cast out many nations before you, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. And when Yahovah Elohecha delivers them over to you, you shall conquer them and utterly destroy them. You shall make no covenant with them, nor show mercy to them, nor shall you make marriages with them. You shall not give your daughter to their son, nor take your daughter for your son. nor take their daughter for your son, for they will turn your sons away from following me, to serve other gods, so the anger of YHVH will be aroused against you, and destroy you suddenly. But thus you shall deal with them. You shall destroy their altars, and break down their sacred pillars, and cut down their wooden images, and burn their carved images with fire. For you are a holy people to YHVH Elohecha. YHVH Elohecha has chosen you to be a people for himself, a special treasure, a segula, above all the peoples on the face of the earth. YHVH did not set his love on you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any other people, for you were the least of all peoples, but because YHVH loves you, and because he would keep the oath which he swore to your fathers. YHVH has brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you from the house of bondage, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim. Therefore know that YHVH Elohecha, he is Elohim, Ha'el HaNe'eman, the faithful Elohim, or the faithful El, who keeps covenant and mercy for 1,000 generations with those who love him and keep his commandments. And he repays those who hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack with him who hates him. He will repay him to his face. Therefore you shall keep the commandment, the statutes, and the judgments which I command you today, to observe them. The Haftorah portion is Isaiah 40, verses 1 through 26. And thank you so much for joining us. Have a blessed week. Shavua Tov.